All right, so I'll start the session now.
Okay, so let me share my screen. So welcome and thank you all participants who have joined today. So this session is going to cover Meshed RTOManager VET AVETMISS reporting feature. My name is Raz Rai Mazi. I'm the product and implementation consultant. So today's agenda, what we are trying to achieve from this webinar is provide you the information on how to extract your data for FIFA service and report correctly for 2020 reporting period. So the agenda that we are going to cover today is data collection process and time frame, how to extract NAT files, report from the platform, what is required to be reported and where data comes from, then submission tools and login details, process to submit the reporting data, and the last one is common errors and warnings and how to fix them. Okay, so the first one is data collection and process and time frames. So here, NCVR web-based AVETMISS software system accepts your annual data reporting until 26th of February 2021. So normally it's the 28th of every year, but then this year, because the 28th falls on the weekend, so you must submit all your data, which is from 1st of January 2020 until 31st December, the activity that you have undertaken before or on 26th of February 2021. So normally RTO required to submit the data at least once a year. So there is a facility. So if the government funding data that you have to submit from your state training authority, from your individual state reporting bodies, but national one, you will submit to a national reporting body. So all RTO must continue to provide submissions to annual collections on nationally recognized training delivered in the calendar year. So this is the date range that we are reporting the data for this year. So there is also a facility in the system that you can also upload your quarterly data. So if you want to practice and upload your data after you complete 3 months or 4 months of your activity, you can also submit those data as well. So advantage of reporting quarterly is that student will be able to see their informations in the USI transcript by logging to their portal. Okay, so there is the detailed information. We will share this PowerPoint slide with you, so you can go to the hyperlink to see more in details how to do your quarterly reporting and so on. Now, in terms of system, how to extract the files from the system. So you need to log in with your administrative login access. So once you log into the system, in the dashboard, you have AVETMISS data export tools. Okay, so once you go and click on that AVETMISS data export tools, this is what you have to do. So in order to get your national reporting data from the system, the first important information to select is national. So you have to choose the option as national, report type yearly. So it will automatically put year 2020. And all states are selected by default based on these selections. And you need to only check non-claim students only. Because your funded data you may have already submitted to your state, you may also submit your national data from your state as well. They will submit on your behalf. But if you want to submit and separately, that is also fine. But you have to select non-claim students, which will bring only the FIFA service students. So the format that you have to extract here is export to TXT NAT files. So that's the option that you have to tick. And system generates AVETMISS_NAT.zip file. So the system will give you a zip file containing 10 files for you to upload. Okay, so what is required to report it and where data comes from? So basically, this is a data mapping between NCVR guidelines and your VET platform. So where the data comes from. So if you are reporting your NAT10 data, this is where you will be able to see. So in your login, you have a college info. That's where we are picking up that information to create NAT10 files. If we are looking at NAT20, which is your training organization delivery locations, so these informations comes from your training venue and location sections. So NAT30, which is your course, comes from your course section. NAT60 is about your unit of competency. All your unit will come from your unit section. NAT 80, which is a student profile. Student data comes from the student participants and student profile sections. NAT 85 is the profile, the postcode informations. So similarly, if you have recorded student disability during application stage or later on you have updated, those reports will be reported under NAT 90 and data comes from the disability section of student. NAT 100 is the previous qualification that they have completed prior learning at your college. So in that case, this data comes from previous qualification history. NAT 120 is all your unit activity happen in a particular year. So that information comes from your student results section. And finally, the program completion, which is the students who have successfully completed all the unit as per the training package rules that you have defined in your platform, and you have given the course status completed, graduated, those students will be listed in NAT 130 file. Okay. So if you have any issues on any of these files while reporting and you are struggling to find which particular sections of system this data is reporting, so this mapping will help you to identify, and you go to the sections, update the data, re-extract the data, and then validate again. Now, next one is submission tools and login details. So where to submit your data that you have extracted from system. So I will also show you by extracting the real data and upload to the NCVR portal. So here, so you need to go to avs.ncvr.edu.au. Now, if you are a new provider, you make register your organization to get access to the system. If you are already a registered user, you need to put username password to log into the system. Okay, now the next one is process to submit. So there is certain things that you have to do after login to the portal. So once you log in, there is a facility to upload your file. So you can click on new collections, you choose your year 2020 period, January to December, you click on add files, the files that comes from system, you can upload the zip file and then upload the files and validate. Okay, so if you're a registered organization, you will see your details as well, because we are not an RTO, so we don't have any information recorded in the system. Now, if you don't know how to operate the NCVR, this particular software, there is a YouTube channel provided by NCVR. You can subscribe them or go to the video and understand how to operate the software, these tools. Okay, so what happens after you upload your data and click on validate? So you will see your results, what type of data you have submitted, how many records that you have reported this year, and the status. So if your data is clean, no issues, then you will see validated. If the data has problem, you can see the error. If you have even one error, you cannot pass this validation. You cannot do a final submission. And also there is a partially validated data, which means that there is some warnings that you need to see. So warning normally lead to an error. So it's better to fix the warning if it's possible to fix as well. Okay, so once you finalize and complete all the status as validated, that's where you click on final submissions and report your data for 2020. So what are the common errors that can happen? So based on our experience, we have listed 10 common errors. So the first one is data extract in wrong format. So if you select state format and try to submit your data to NCVR, so automatically your file will return an error. So you must select the national format if you're submitting data to the national. Sometimes there's a recording of illegal character. So what happens is sometimes you record student name that has a special character like single quote, double quote, or there's exclamations or percentage. So these are flagged as illegal character. Even in the student address section, if you copy paste from the somewhere that you don't know, you cannot see, but system will detect if they have an illegal character. So if the NCVR finds any of your data contains illegal character, it won't pass or validate the file. So in that case, you need to open your data in a Notepad++ to find out which record has this problem, and then remove that particular data from the system, go to your profile and update the student name if it has issue related to name, and then fix the data, re-extract the data, and then validate. So I'll show you how to do that one as well here. Now the next one is unit finish days going cross here. So other one is not align with the business rules of NCVR guidelines. So let's say a student has completed the unit in 2020, but the outcome of the unit you haven't changed from continuing enrollment to C or NYC. So this is one of the common error. The next one is course commencing ID. So this is for the full qualification. If student started in 2019 and they haven't completed the course till 2020, or they're still studying till 2021. So there's a course commencing ID that you have to change to number 4, which is continuing instead of commencing student. Okay, then next one is wrong unit ID. So other one is very common. If you add the unit that is not in training.gov, not matching with the training.gov, then it will also return an error. So make sure your unit code is recorded correctly in the system. Then next one is field of educations. If your course or unit does not match with the field of education defined, that will also return an error. This is the most common one, student address. So you are not recording the suburb and postcode as per the Australian postcode definition. So if you have mismatch, this will also return an error. Then next one is training location address. This is also the same. If you record your address does not match with postcode, that will return another error. The next one is wrong funding source. So when you record the student's enrollment, you need to make sure that you have recorded the correct funding source. If they're domestic fee for service or they're international, depending on what type of student you have, their funding source needs to be correctly recorded. And finally, the last error that you may find is course finish date issue. So normally what happens is you have recorded all the unit completed in 2019, but you also leave the course finish at 2020. Okay, so if there's no activity happen in 2020 because all activity has finished in 19, in that case you cannot leave course finish date as 2020. You need to shorten the finish date, or either change the unit competency date of the last unit to match with 2020 date. Okay, so these are the common errors. Let's go and see from the system how to do this process. Okay, so I will use one of my demo site here. Okay, so once I log into the platform, so those who have administrative access, so who is admin or super admin, only those persons will have access to the AVETMISS icon. So you go to your system here, so you click on AVETMISS. Okay, so by default it comes as a state, so you have to choose the type as national. Okay, and you need to select final report yearly 2020. And here you have to only select non-claim only. So your claim student, you may have already reported via your state. Okay, so in this case, you just extract your txt.NET files. So that's what you will get as a zip file. And then you go to your NCVR portal. Okay, so type avs.ncvr.edu.au. If you are a new organization, you click on here to register to get the username password. So I have one already here, so I will log into the system. So once I log into the system, there's two ways. One is you can click here new collections, or you go to collections and click new collections. It will open a new page. So basically you will see your organization, and here you need to choose year 2020. So here is a facility. You can report your quarterly data, but this time we already reached to a final reporting Jan to December. So activity from this date until 31st December. Okay, and the deadline is 26th of January 2021. So before that date, you need to submit your data without any errors. Okay, so after this, you click on add files. So you will get your data that you have extracted from the system. So After you add your files, you click on upload files. Okay, so what it does is it simply upload your 10 files and you can see what is the file name, and then you click on validate. Okay, so let's see the status. Okay. So here you will also see how many records that you have reported on each of these. So in NAT 10, there's only one. NAT 20, you have only one delivery locations. NAT 30, only one course. So there's 3 unit in NAT 60 for subjects, 1 student. There's a 3 unit activity. There's no program completion. So you will see what type of data that you have for your organization. These records is important. Now, all of these errors needs to be fixed. So without fixing this, you cannot do your final submission. Now, how to see what type of error that you have in each of these files? So there's a facility here. Click on export details to export all of these errors and warnings, whatever you have in the spreadsheet. Okay. And other option here is if you want to see more in detail, you can just click on the error itself. This is the hyperlink. So this is to fix only that particular issue. So you can see gender data is not recorded correctly, address and postcode is not matching, and blank USI. So you can further click on that link to find out which particular student ID has this issue. Okay, so this student ID says Alexandria, but the postcode is 2192, which does not match. Okay, so it must be 2015, but it's putting something else. So as per the data entry recorded in the system, you will see these kind of common errors in your data as well. Okay, so this is one way, and the other way is you have just extracted a spreadsheet from that export details, right? Okay, so you will get all the informations in the spreadsheet here. So basically you can filter this, and in the column E you will see what is the error, so you can read what type of error that they have produced based on your data. So anything with the error type, this E must be fixed. So with the word W is a warning, so it's something that can be avoided, which you can submit your data. So you can filter, so you have to fix all of these data. And you can see here as well which particular file has what type of error. So if you want to fix the data for NAT 80 and 85, which is the address related, you can see. Okay, and if you go towards the right section here, you will see in column K what is the student ID that you need to fix this data. Okay, so the way to fix the error is you need to copy the student ID. Okay, so you need to copy the student ID here and then go to your system. So go to your participants. So put your student ID here and then go to the profile of the student. So NAT 80 and 85 is all about the student address and postcode. So if you go to the profile here, so this is what you have to do. So that particular address is related to a student address here. So you need to edit here. And then this is the suburb, you need to fix the postcode. Okay. So normally for Alexandria, So also the system has facility. When you type your suburb, it will also pre-populate what is the right postcode for that suburb. So you can find that information. So you need to fix this particular data and update. Okay. So once you fix your data, you have to re-extract the informations and submit. So other one is the student title. So gender. So this student gender hasn't been defined. So we need to also update, fix that particular issues. Okay. So this is fixing one of these error regarding your net 80 and 85. Okay, so the other errors that we can have a look. So this is one error that we have just fixed. Okay, so other one here is net 120. Okay, so something like this is because we are not an registered organization, so it says it's non-accredited training organization. So you will not find this particular error because you are already RTO and you have all the subjects registered there. So that issue can be avoided. The other things is here in net 10 and 20, so invalid postcode. So based on each of these informations here, so the way you need to do is go to your system, go to the right sections of that error and then fix. So if it's related to net 20, so the error we are talking about is one, the venue that you have reported, the suburb and postcode does not match. Okay, so make sure this is fixed. Now, other things that we tend to get regarding your net 130 data is so let's say this student is enrolled in diploma business, has different activity here. So one of the activity here is they will have different competency outcome here. And if you want to report the students in net 130, specifying that they have completed the course successfully and you have also issued a certificate. So this is important when you're generating individual or bulk certificate. You need to change their course status to completed. Okay. So once you make the course status completed or graduated, then only their record will come into net 130. Okay, so based on that, you will also see what is the certificate number and the status is completed. And you will also see the certificate issue flag is ticked. So this way, your NAT 130 will tell now is this student ID has completed this course, you have issued certificate, and this is the certificate number. Okay, so this is important. So after we have done all of this fixing, what we need to do is again re-extract our data in the national format, 2020 non-claim only. Okay, so you have your data now. So again, go back and repeat the process. So you can upload your files as many times as you want until and unless you have fixed all the errors. Okay. So it will just override the previous upload. So we can just revalidate again. Okay, so this time you may have less error. So you can see net 80 error has been fixed. So after all the errors are fixed, so you need to click on final submissions here. And you will see how many records that you have reported, and finally you agree to your terms and conditions and then submit your data. Okay, so this is the final steps, and also the system will record the files that you have generated and submitted your data. So within the admin and college material sections, your 2020 files that you have extracted, you will be able to see that in the reference here. Okay, so system will put on this date time, this is the file that you have generated and reported. Okay. So that's all from my side. So thank you for your participations today. Now, if you need any support in your AVETMISS reporting, feel free to send email to our support@meshgroup.com.au. We will send you this recording and the PowerPoint slide to you for your reference as well. And when you are sending your support query, make sure these are the two things that you can do to help the support team to get your answers addressed quickly. One is, what is the actual file that you have used and return this error? And the second one is the detailed report. So if you can send those two before you log your ticket with our support system, then your query will be answered quickly, because we know exactly what is the error that you want to fix and we can suggest. Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone.